Happy Yule or Winter Solstice if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, and a very happy Litha or Summer Solstice if you happen to live in the Southern. Happy Saturnalia, Happy Belated Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year's. In 3 words, Happy Holidays, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Sapphire, and I want to wish you a very, very happy holiday season and a very warm hello and welcome, or welcome back to my channel for all my lovely and beautiful friends. I would first like to apologize about for my recent absence. I've just been going through some things physically, financially, and emotionally, including catching a cold. I also unfortunately spent too much time worrying about things outside of my control, such as the current state of politics and the rise of artificial intelligence, largely at the hands of a handful of billionaires, and what that means for humanity in terms of AI taking people's jobs without a safety net in the coming years, and in terms of our relationship with technology, our relationship with each other, and our understanding of consciousness itself. I do plan to do a deep dive on AI, especially with respect to this question of consciousness, in a video in the near future, but I've chosen to take a break from this topic altogether for now for my own mental health. And I am better now. I've chosen to release myself from the grip of worry over things outside of my control, and have refocused my attention on things that are within my control and on the brighter side of life and all the many, many blessings that I am grateful for in my life. I rediscovered the spark in the dark that I have within myself, and I have a renewed drive to pick up the YouTube mantle once again, and radically shift, transform, and improve both my life and what I do in general with respect to this channel. Coming into January, please expect some new motivational self-help and self-improvement content to start off the year, before diving back into the spiritual space and the deeper questions and mysteries of life and the universe. In today's video, I'm going to start by talking about the astrology and spiritual significance of the recent new moon in Sagittarius, since we are still in the wake of this potent lunation. I will then share the spiritual significance of the sacred winter solstice or Yule, and how this beautiful occasion is commonly honored and celebrated amongst pagans and wiccans. I will then take a deep dive into the pagan origins of Christianity. Finally, I invite you all to join me near the end of the video as I pull and read some cards for the energy of the collective. This will be a timeless reading, so no matter whenever you come across this video, and welcome, and its message found you for a reason. Well, before I get into it, please take a moment to like this video if you enjoy this content. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you love this type of content and you would love to see more like it. Comment down below your thoughts and feelings and any feedback you have, and even donate if you feel called. Namaste. Now let's get back into the rest of the video, shall we? So the new moon in Sagittarius recently occurred on December 19th, 2025, and marked a potent spiritual gateway for expansion, truth-seeking, and envisioning the future. As the final new moon of 2025, it serves as a sacred pause between cycles, inviting you to plant seeds for 2026. Ruled by Jupiter, this lunation encourages dreaming without limits. It is a time to aim your arrow towards new horizons, whether through spiritual study, travel, or long-term personal goals. This energy is very synchronous with the energy of the winter solstice, which is also when I personally celebrate the end of the year and the beginning of a new one. And it also serves to energetically set the stage or lay the groundwork for the beginning of 2026. I feel I have personally been called to embrace something new and true in the new year and to level up and become the best version of myself. Sagittarius energy demands radical honesty. Spiritually, this is a call to release outdated narratives or beliefs that keep you small and align with your most authentic self. This phase also ignites a sense of hope and purpose. It emphasizes trusting the journey even when the destination isn't fully visible, transforming fear into a leap of faith. This 2025 new moon in Sagittarius is conjunct Venus and Mars, adding a surge of desire, artistic drive, and romantic intensity to your intentions. Squares to Saturn and Neptune may create temporary feelings of confusion or self-doubt. Spiritually, this invites you to find clarity through intuition rather than logic. This lunation is often associated with the sacral chakra, focusing on creativity, emotional intelligence, and initiation of fresh, joyful projects. So here are some powerful rituals and practices to still honor this new moon. And that would be to set bold intentions. Write down 3 big picture aspirations for 2026. Speak your truth. Use the power of your voice to affirm your vision out loud and to anchor it into reality. Release limiting beliefs. Perform a burn ritual by writing down a fear or story that no longer serves you and safely setting it aflame to clear space for new energy. Also, some crystals and tools you can use during this time include labradorite for reclaiming energy and spiritual nourishment, amethyst to soothe restless Sagittarian energy and to promote spiritual growth. And some scents you can use are frankincense, sandalwood, or rosemary to aid in reflection and fresh starts. So what then is the spiritual significance of Yule? Yule, celebrated on Winter Solstice, December 21st in the Northern Hemisphere, marks the shortest day and longest night of the year, but it also marks the return of light and hope as days finally begin to lengthen again from this point on. It is a time of reflection, renewal, and celebration of nature's cycles, symbolizing rebirth and the triumph of light over darkness. So some spiritual themes of Yule include rebirth and renewal. Yule symbolizes the rebirth of the sun, marking a turning point where darkness begins to recede. It embodies themes of hope and transformation, encouraging individuals to reflect on their personal growth and set intentions for the coming year. Another theme is connection to nature. The winter solstice is a reminder of nature's cycles, emphasizing the importance of introspection during the darkest time of the year. Many traditions involve rituals that honor the earth and its rhythms, fostering a deeper connection to the natural world. Another theme, as I've hinted at, is reflection and introspection. This period encourages individuals to confront their inner darkness, allowing for personal growth and healing. It is a time to acknowledge grief and loss, mirroring the quiet energy of winter, while also celebrating the light that will return. Yule is often celebrated with various rituals, including lighting candles, decorating evergreen trees, and sharing meals with loved ones. The Yule log is a significant symbol representing warmth, light, and protection during the coldest months. Many modern Christmas traditions have roots in Yule celebrations, reflecting the blending of ancient pagan practices with contemporary customs, which I will get into more later in the video. The holiday emphasizes community, gratitude, and the importance of togetherness during the winter season. Yule serves as a powerful reminder of the cyclical nature of life, encouraging individuals to embrace both the darkness and the light as they navigate their spiritual journeys. As I have already mentioned, many modern Christmas traditions have roots in Yule celebrations from pagan years. Christmas has roots in various pagan traditions, particularly the Roman festival of Saturnalia, which celebrated the winter solstice with feasting and merriment. And this is not by accident or mere coincidence, as I will elaborate on. Many customs associated with Christmas, such as the Christmas tree and gift giving, were adapted from these earlier pagan traditions. Christmas, celebrated on December 25th, commemorates the birth of Jesus Christ. However, its timing and many traditions have roots in earlier pagan festivals. And one of the ways those pagan roots are really evident is in the festival timing. It happens around the same timing as Saturnalia from the ancient Roman times. Saturnalia was a Roman festival held from December 17th to the 23rd. The customs of Saturnalia involved feasting, gift-giving, and revelry, which influenced Christmas traditions. The winter solstice, marking the shortest day of the year, was celebrated by various cultures as a time of rebirth and renewal. The date of December 25th was chosen to align with these pagan celebrations, symbolizing the rebirth of the sun. The Yule festival was, of course, also celebrated by Vikings and included customs like the Yule log and evergreen decorations, which have been incorporated into Christmas traditions. As I alluded to, the Christmas tree was once the Yule tree of Norse origin. Decorated evergreen trees symbolize life and renewal. The tradition of kissing underneath the mistletoe has its roots in druidic rituals associated with fertility and protection. The tradition of gift-giving arose from the common practice of exchanging gifts during the Roman festival of Saturnalia. Finally, large meals and gatherings were a common and essential part of pagan festivals, marking the winter solstice and the rebirth of the sun. While Christmas is fundamentally a Christian holiday, many of its customs and the choice of date reflect a blend of pagan traditions. This historical context does not diminish its significance for many Christians today, who celebrate it as a time of joy and reflection for the birth of Christ. All that being said, the story of Jesus' life is actually a tale far older than roughly 2,000 years. I do not intend to be sacrilegious or blasphemous to any Christian viewers, and I mean absolutely no disrespect. And, faith is a beautiful and really personal matter, and I fully honor and respect that. But as I was saying, I intend to rather be factual and, yes, a bit thought-provoking. You see, Jesus is actually a relatively recent addition in a long line of tales of solar messiahs spanning many cultures, civilizations, and millennia. And those stories themselves were inspired by the journey of the sun itself across the sky of the northern hemisphere throughout the wheel of the year. Don't believe me? Allow me to explain. So let's start with the god Horus from ancient Egyptian mythology, from circa around 3000 BC. Horus was born of a virgin on December 25th. The birth of Horus was marked by a star in the east. Horus was adorned by 3 kings, became a teacher at the age of 12, and was baptized and entered into a ministry, a teaching phase at the age of 30. Horus also had 12 disciples, performed miracles, was called the Lamb of God and the Light, was crucified, died for 3 days, and then was resurrected. Moving on in time to ancient Persia, circa 1200 BC, we have Mithra. Mithra was born of a virgin on December 25th, had 12 disciples, performed miracles, died for 3 days, was resurrected, was called the Truth and the Light, and was worshipped on Sunday. Then we have ancient Greece from around that same time with the story of Attis. Attis was also born of a virgin on December 25th, crucified, died for 3 days, and was resurrected. Then coming to ancient India, circa 900 BC, we have one of the deities I worship, Krishna. Krishna was born of a virgin. His birth was marked by a star in the east, performed miracles, crucified. He was crucified between 3 thieves and was resurrected. Finally, we have Dionysus of ancient Greece, circa 500 BC. Dionysus was born of a virgin on December 25th, performed miracles including turning water into wine, was called the King of Kings and the Alpha and Omega, and was resurrected. Are you noticing a pattern here yet? And the Christian cross, which represents the crucifixion of Jesus Christ upon a wooden cross, was actually not a new invention of early Christians or even of the Romans who occupied the historical Palestine of the time and put the hit out on JC and had him nailed to the cross. No, the cross has its roots in paganism, long predating Christianity or the Roman rule of the Mediterranean Near East at the time. Before Jesus was depicted nailed to a cross and came to embody the Christian cross with the vertical side longer than the horizontal side, pagans honored and revered the pagan cross, represented as an equilateral cross with 2 sides of equal length intersecting in the middle and circumscribed by a circle. The pagan cross represents the rays of the bright shining sun, as well as the 4 directions or 4 winds and the 4 traditional pagan elements of the material plane: earth, air, fire, water, plus the intersection of the 2 lines of the cross pointing to the 5th element of spirit. The pagan cross is also known as the cross of the zodiac, which splits the year into the 4 seasons. If you saw my recent Samhain video, you would also know that the cross was a sacred and revered object long before reverence was given to the Christian cross. These crosses were traditionally made of rowan wood and bound with red fabric in the middle and used to ward away evil or trickster spirits, especially important when the veil is thin, such as during Samhain. The 12 disciples represent the 12 signs or constellations of the zodiac in traditional Western tropical synodic or sun-following astrology. There are in fact 13 signs in sidereal or star-following astrology, but that's neither here nor there for now. Tracking the sun, whether in the context of astronomy or astrology and mythology, stems from our ancient need to keep track of the passing of seasons in order to know when to plant crops and which plants to crop, and when to harvest them, and to keep track of expected migration patterns of animals as the seasons change. So the star in the east that you may have noticed from the biblical story is Sirius. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky on December 25th, and it aligns with the 3 stars in Orion's belt, the 3 kings. What's more, all 3 of these stars point in the direction of the sunrise on December 25th. The Virgin Mary is the constellation Virgo. Virgo is also known as the house of bread, and the Virgin Virgo is often depicted as a woman holding a sheaf of wheat. Jesus' birthplace, Bethlehem, literally translates to house of bread in Hebrew. Bethlehem is a reference to the constellation Virgo. As it turns out, on December 25th, approximately 2,000 years ago, the constellation Virgo was in the eastern part of the night sky, appearing on the eastern horizon around 3 a.m., and it was visible until sunrise. Virgo would have appeared to have given birth to the sun during that time. On December 21st, the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, The sun is at its lowest point in the sky. The sun appears to stand still, lending to the name of solstice. The sun also appears to die, just as these many ancient revered figures were crucified and died. The sun even appears to disappear below the horizon altogether in the highest northern latitudes. Moreover, the sun's progress of ascension from this lowest point in the sky on December 21st is very slow and incremental in the 3 days that follow the solstice. The sun also resides in the vicinity of the Southern Cross at this time. The sun appears to stay dead for 3 days before resurrecting once more on December 25th, which comes to represent both a victory of light over darkness and a victory of good over evil. Even Jesus' crown of thorns is a reference to the corona around the sun, or its sun rays, especially visible during when it bursts over the horizon on a sunrise. The resurrection of the sun typically wasn't celebrated in pagan traditions until the spring equinox, or Ostara. This was later co-opted by early Christians and became Easter. If we want to expand on this astrological theme even further, Jesus was born at the beginning of the age of Pisces. There are 12 such ages, each lasting roughly 2,150 years. This is called the precession of the equinoxes, referring to which sign that the spring equinox lands on depending on where Earth's axial tilt is in its regular cycle of wobbles. Pisces is of course depicted as a fish, thus lending to Jesus being associated with fish since the time of early Christians. And in the New Testament, Jesus feeds 5,000 people with bread and fish. Important food staples on the one hand, yes, but also coincidentally associated with Virgo, or the Virgin Mary, and the new age of Pisces. Before the story of Jesus' life, Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments and a whole lot of wrath for his own people for worshiping a golden calf. This golden calf symbolized the age of Taurus. Moses ushered in the age of Aries, the ram, and this is why Jewish peoples to this day blow the ram's horn in celebration and reverence. Arguably, the end times fervor among many evangelical Christians comes from a mistranslation of Matthew 28, chapter 28, verse 20, where Jesus says, "I will be with you even to the end of the world," when the correct translation would be the end of the eon, which is another word for age. He was meaning that he would be with his people until the end of the age of Pisces, not the end of the world. Roughly the year 2150 will mark the end of the age of Pisces and the beginning of the age of Aquarius, a seemingly distant coming eventuality that is looked forward to with much excitement and anticipation among many in New Age spiritual communities. According to many in these spiritual communities, the age of Aquarius centers on a global shift towards higher consciousness, unity, humanitarianism, technology, and freedom, moving from the individualistic me focus of the previous age of Pisces to a collective we consciousness of the age of Aquarius. It's seen as an era of innovation, equality, shared knowledge, and technological advancement like the internet, fostering global community, compassion, and spiritual awakening, ushering in an empathetic, intellectually advanced society where old paradigms dissolve for greater universal harmony. Given these themes and modes of being that this new age of Aquarius will allegedly usher in, coupled with the transitional Dvapara Yuga phase of the Kali Yuga cycle, according to Hindu cosmology, it is easy to see why many people in these communities regard this coming age with such excitement and anticipation. Many folks like myself who honor, respect, and believe in astrology also regard the current time of Pluto in Aquarius as a prelude or precursor to the coming age of Aquarius. For helpful tips on how to navigate this complex time of Pluto in Aquarius, please see my other video on self-care during the time of Pluto in Aquarius. However, this enlightened Aquarian energy is currently at war with the old guard Plutonian guardians of wealth and power who won't easily be parted from their riches. I'm sure most of you are already well aware of the obscene wealth and, by extension, political power billionaires possess relative to the rest of humanity, as well as the widening wealth inequality gap. At the risk of getting political, I will briefly summarize the nature of the problem. The top 10% richest people in the world hold 75% of global wealth, while the bottom half owns just 2%. And the richest 0.001%, roughly 60,000 people, hold as much as the poorest 3.1 billion people combined. This extreme concentration of wealth is growing as billionaire wealth increases at nearly double the rate of the bottom half's wealth, highlighting a massive accelerating gap. The wealth of billionaires or centimillionaires has grown about 8% annually since the 1990s, almost twice the rate of the poorest half. The gap isn't just large, it's widening rapidly with extraordinary wealth accumulation at the top and very modest gains or even losses among the poor. This extreme inequality is linked to major global issues like hunger, lack of healthcare access, lack of clean, fresh water, and climate breakdown, with Oxfam estimating it contributes to thousands of deaths daily. Reports from organizations like Oxfam and the World Inequality Lab call for urgent action, including taxing the wealth of extreme elites to address this obscene disparity. This is what we are up against. This is one of the biggest challenges of our time. We certainly don't need the permission of billionaires to become more spiritually awake and enlightened, but living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to keep a roof over your head tends to make it difficult to raise one's vibration and rise above the 3D consciousness and the concerns and preoccupations that come with it. Difficult, but not impossible. Furthermore, we are in an era of massive innovation and technological advancement, but who will control this technological progress and how will they wield it? It is very difficult for humanity to embody these enlightened themes of higher consciousness, unity, humanitarianism, freedom, community, collective consciousness, rather than ego consciousness, equality, shared knowledge, and compassion when it feels like most of humanity is at the mercy of the whims of a psychopathic, ultra-wealthy elite. Please keep in mind that I am a strong believer in nonviolence, and I am not inciting or condoning violence in any way with the following question. Will the old guard Plutonians die a slow, natural death while the enlightened ones quietly build alternative systems of community, wealth, sustainability, and compassionate caretaking of our human brothers and sisters? Or will our sovereignty, the collective resources of our planet, and the collective destiny of humanity have to, one way or another, be wrested from the vice-like grip of this old guard by force? Returning to the topic of the pagan origins of Christmas, in many ways, Christmas is an arguably heavily plagiarized and resurrected, glorified and elaborate version of something older than history, sun worship. It's easy to see why the sun has been worshipped for nearly as long as humans were a species. The sun brings warmth, light, vision, and security in the morning after a dark, cold, predator-filled night. In the daylight, it was harder for your predators and enemies to hide. It was easier to see them and to hunt your prey. It was easier to see and hunt your prey. It was easier to spot ripe vegetation and tell food from poison. And finally, without adequate sunlight, crops don't grow. It is easy to see why the sun came to represent the forces of good and the darkness came to represent the forces of evil, and why the resurrection of the sun was celebrated as both a victory of good over evil, as much as it was simply a victory of light in and of itself over the absence thereof. The darkness meant injury, illness, blindness, cold, enemies, predators, starvation, and death, while sunlight meant health, vitality, sight, warmth, security, truth, honesty, kindness, abundance, and life. I don't personally believe in Jesus as God or part of God any more than we're all part of universal consciousness or God, and we all have a spark of the divine within us. I don't know if I even believe an actual human person closely resembling Jesus actually existed in ancient Palestine 2,000 years ago. Unequivocal evidence for that outside of the Bible itself is scant at best. And Jesus' name, Yeshua, was in fact a very common name in the region at the time during his reported life. But I do believe in the Gnostic parable of Christ consciousness, and I absolutely love, respect, honor, and try to embody many of the teachings of Jesus, just as I love, respect, and honor the sun itself and the sun gods Surya and Lu. Well, I hope you all enjoyed and got something out of that deep dive into the pagan origins of Christmas, as well as more about the celebration of Yule and the energy that is swirling around and intersecting with the wake of the new moon in Sagittarius. I hope you all enjoyed that and got something very powerful and meaningful out of it. I meant absolutely no offense to any Christian viewers I may be watching, but that is just my personal take and beliefs on the story and the situation. But with that being said, I would like to just move on to a beautiful reading on the collective consciousness of my viewers and anybody who happens to be tuning in. This is a timeless reading, so whenever it happens to find you is when it was meant to find you, and it found you for a reason. Let's get into it. So I will once again be using the Buddha deck, the Buddha Wisdom Sacred Spirit deck. Sorry, Shakti Power deck and guidebook. I will once again be using Buddha Wisdom deck. Universal consciousness, spirit, what do you want to show me? What can you show me for the energy of the collective, and what lessons can be garnered, and how may I best serve and help the collective and my viewers? All right, let's start out with top of the deck. We have Prajna Paramita. I am so sorry if I butchered that, but it's Prajna Paramita. She's the wisdom goddess of the three times. The writings of great beings have the voice of God within. Wow. That's some powerful divine wisdom that's being channeled and coming through right now for myself and for all the viewers, all the beautiful viewers here. So I guess, I mean, if anything, that's a reminder and an encouragement to follow the guidance of your personal spiritual path and your spirit guides and your deities, gods, goddesses, those powerful sacred beings that you feel are with you at all times. trust in them and trust the wisdom that they have to offer you. And look to the writings of the greats, whether that be Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, whoever, and look to them because they have the voice of God within. Very powerful. All right, let's take a look here. Just gonna draw some cards. Okie dokie, let's see what we got. So the first one we got is Garuda. We have Garuda, protector from the serpent race. Raise your eyes to a bird in flight to connect with the divine. Very interesting. Very interesting how, I mean, yeah, this is obviously a new modern deck, but very cool that the ancients made that connection between birds and serpentine reptilian, because in fact birds did evolve from dinosaurs, and dinosaurs are reptiles. So a protector from the serpent race. Raise your eyes to a bird in flight and connect to the divine. I'm not sure if any of you have been seeing either a serpent, like snake, those type of animal beings in your life, or you have been seeing birds in your life, but that might represent a synchronicity for you, some kind of connection there. But the call to raise your eyes to a bird in flight, like, I feel like it's a call to let our spirits soar and fly freely, just as birds do. Beautiful. Next we have Vajrakilaya, or the magician. What you identify with becomes who you are. Very powerful reminder that what we think of and what we identify with and what we slowly internalize and come to embody is who we become. So a very, very powerful reminder that our thoughts become our reality. So we have to be careful and cognizant of the energy and the vibration we are putting out there in the world, and our thoughts, because our thoughts become our words and our actions, and that has a ripple effect that radiates out into the universe. So so what you identify with not only becomes who you are, but it becomes how you leave a mark in the world and in the universe. So very powerful and potent reminder there, and I hope that stirs something within all of you, like it has with me. Oh, and I'm almost forgetting to take a look at the numerology here. For that first one, Prajna Paramita, we have the number 21. 21 in numerology, that becomes the number 3. The number of action, putting your good ideas and intentions into action, and trusting that the universe, your angels, spirit guides, gods, goddesses, ancestors are with you and supporting you in the manifestation and creation of your goals and your dreams. Then we have number 34 and number 33. Trust me, I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. It's just a coincidence that 34 and 33 are together here. But yeah, 33, again, it's that energy of the threes, encouragement to put your good intentions into action and trust that the universe, angels, spirit guides, deities, gods and goddesses, and your ancestors are with you, and they're supporting and guiding you in the process of manifesting your desires and your goals and your dreams into reality. Also, if you want to go by the numerology rules, 3 plus 3, that becomes 6, and 34 becomes 7. So definitely a theme of balance, harmony, and letting go of what no longer serves you so that you can embody the light and embody and anchor in that energy of the light, and just become more balanced, peaceful, and harmonious being. And the number 7, very sacred, potent number itself. Seven generally represents the intuition and the higher self and the divine, astral, and etheric realms. And then we have 6 again, 6 by itself. So this final one is Kubera. Kubera is the patron of the arts, creator of abundance. Be a creator of abundance. And that lines up well with the number 6 as well, which is all about balance and harmony. Part of balance and harmony is having abundance and being secure in yourself in order to attract and manifest that abundance in your life. So Kubera, powerful reminder to become a creator of abundance and to anchor in this energy in the coming new year. And given that energy, I wish you all a very, very happy, successful, healthy, and prosperous new year, as since I'm bringing it up. I wish you a very happy holidays and happy new year to all of you. And I'm going to take one last card from the bottom of the deck. Let's see what we got. The Ecstatic Dakini, number 12. Ooh, number 12. We were just talking about the 12 disciples and the 12 signs or constellations in the zodiac. That's you can't make that up. That's a powerful synchronicity right there. So the Ecstatic Dakini, lion-headed Sima Muka, old age brings wisdom and fierce certainty. Wow. I feel like that's almost a message for myself, but I'm in my 30s. Old age hasn't hit yet. I'm a youngin' compared to many of my viewers, I'm sure of it. But it might be a message for y'all out there. It might be a message to any of my older viewers. Old age brings wisdom and fierce certainty. So unfortunately, in this culture, in Western culture with capitalism, imperialism, and go, industrial cycle of being, this society can definitely kind of devalue old age, older folks, um, as they gradually age and lose a little vigor, lose a little vitality. The signs of age start showing, especially when it comes to women, unfortunately, because that's how the patriarchy is. When a woman gets older, she's generally not seen as that much valuable to society, unfortunately. Whereas with men, it's more of a slow, gradual decline in how society views older men. With the exception of politicians, I guess, and billionaires, it seems like those folks are more respected as they get older, and generally they're men. But this card is a powerful reminder that old age brings you intense, powerful wisdom and certainty that youth cannot bring you. Youth, in youth, you have a lot of energy and vitality and spring in your step, yes, but you also have a lot of youthful naivety and lack of wisdom, lack of experience, and that's something that's irreplaceable. You know, you have to go through that experience of going through your life journey and learning those lessons and, you know, becoming that old wise one. This culture may unfortunately devalue older folks as they gradually age, but the universe does not see age. The universe sees energy, and you know, the universe and the true society of the collective of all of humanity and mankind, I think at some deep level, we all respect the wisdom and the certitude of elders and the quiet certitude of elders. And you know, some of us more than others may honor and respect that, but I think at our core we understand and we can acknowledge and relate to that old age shouldn't be seen as a sign of weakness or debilitation or decay. No, old age is absolutely a badge of honor. It's a sign of great wisdom and patience and resilience. Old age is a mark of something that cannot be replaced by any other way. It's irreplaceable. It has to be earned from the wisdom of life itself as a teacher of experience. So, if you're getting older as we move into this new year of 2026, can you believe it? Where does the time go? Um, just know that old age is absolutely a badge of honor and wisdom. And know that your time is not over. You're still here for a reason. You have valuable gifts and wisdom and knowledge to share with the world. Don't forget that and don't let your time just slip by. You know, whether you have many decades left to go or just a few years left to go, you have the time to offer and share your gifts with the world. So don't let it pass you by. just as I, in my 30s, have made a decision to share my wisdom and gifts with the world and not let my time pass me by any further than it already has. I want to absolutely double down on making a positive impact in the world with the limited time I have. I feel like a lot of years have kind of just came and went, and they've been largely wasted. But during that time, life was also a teacher. Like, it was my classroom. So it's not like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that all these past years are not necessarily wasted time, even if they feel like you haven't done much. It's still been a teacher, a journey, experience. And for that reason, middle age or old age should be seen as a sign of wisdom and a badge of honor. Not just by itself, of course. Like, there has to be an actual learning that has went on with it, not just stagnation. There has to be learning and growth and progress. And I hope you all can embody that energy as we go forward into the future as well. So old age isn't something to necessarily be blindly worshipful and respectful of just for its own sake. It has to be like, the wisdom and the respect has to be earned through experience. But if you're just stagnating, you haven't grown much as a person throughout your years, I would recommend making that change and leaning into the energy of using life and the universe, the world around you, as a classroom to learn the lessons you need to learn, but also as an amphitheater to share your wisdom and your knowledge and your experiences with the world. Earn that badge of honor that is old age. Don't just become someone who happens to be old. But once again, that message of old age brings wisdom and fierce certainty is a powerful one. Not only does it, bring you wisdom, as I keep saying, it brings you that quiet certitude that makes things a little bit easier, flow a little easier and lighter, and you have a greater sense of stability and security as you go through years, generally speaking. So that's a reminder that not only is old age a badge of honor, but it is also a badge of strength and stability and security, especially if you have earned that through your life and you are now able to share that warmth and security with your loved ones. Just a quiet but powerful reminder that you have a lot left to offer and give and share with the world. So don't forget it. So with that, I'd love to just bid all you beautiful, lovely, radiant people a lovely adieu, and you have a wonderful rest of your day, and have lovely, blessed holidays. Very happy holidays to all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful, healthy, happy, successful, prosperous new year that's everything you hope it will be, and that you have a happy, healthy, successful, and prosperous rest of your life as well. Feliz Navidad, happy holidays, and prospero, successful, happy new year to all of you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste. Blessed be. Love you all. Bye.